Good afternoon. Good afternoon. God is good in all the time. Good. Boys and girls, good afternoon. Are you happy? Congratulations. Do they look great? We can give them a round of applause. It is usually very, very difficult to be the last speaker because most of the people who have spoken, they have spoken the items which are relevant for the meeting. Particularly, Madam Esther has summarized my speech. But because I had written mine, I will nonetheless proceed and read. Let's appreciate Madam Esther. So as I've been introduced, my name's George Kimani. I'm born again. I love the Lord as my personal Savior. I serve in this church as a deacon by the grace of God. And I'm also privileged to chair the board of management of PEFA School. And I'm grateful for that. I've been a teacher for the last 17 years. And maybe most likely in our midst there could be my student. Is it possible? Yes. Let's appreciate her. Let's appreciate her. Thank you. Thank you. I've taught in accountants in this city for the last 17 years. So quite often in any gathering now I go, almost everywhere, chances are I get my students. I'm also a practicing counseling psychologist, and I thank God for that. As I've said, I'm the chair of the board, and together with me we have Madam Lillian. The other members have sent their blessings. They were not able to be with us. We are also not together with our CEO, our senior pastor, Bishop Dr. Paul Habwe. He was not able to be with us, but we have his blessings. So let's appreciate him even in absentia. Ladies and gentlemen, I feel honored and privileged to be asked to be the chief guest at this auspicious graduation ceremony of this great institution. I'm much excited to witness the marvelous doing of our God in the lives of our children today. I congratulate the teachers, the parents, and the guardians for your immense selfless contribution to enable the little ones to cross an important milestone of their life. Graduation is a time of celebration, is a time of triumph, and marks the end of one phase and the beginning of the next phase. Having said so, on this great and important occasion, I am much aware that today is about these children. However, my speech will largely be aimed at the parents and the guardians who are seated in this auditorium today. And I would wish for the few minutes that have been allocated to just discuss with us the roles of parents in the early life of a child. Ladies and gentlemen, as parents and teachers, we do a lot, or we put a lot of time and energy into preparing our children for their futures. This is done by striving so hard to ensure that our children get the best of education and hopefully the vast and great wealth. Every parent or guardian is working so hard to give quality education. It is actually one of the reasons why the middle class, who happens to be you and me, we have decided not to get many children. We are getting 1 or 2 because quality education is expensive and maybe we do not have great disposable income. And in trying to achieve this, we have limited the number of children that we are getting. It is okay, dear parents, to do this. It is actually biblical because the good book tells us that a good man leaveth wealth for his children. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, these pursuits have taken a lot of our time. And one person said that we worry too much about what a child will become tomorrow, such that we forget that our child is someone today. I want to repeat that we worry so much about what the child will become tomorrow to an extent that we forget that child is someone today. Ladies and gentlemen, therefore, it is against this background that I wish to discuss with us 4 other things which I think are very, very important other than good education and great wealth. And the things that I would want to bring to us, 1 is God, 2, discipline, 3, presence, and 4, integrity. Ladies and gentlemen, as I talk about God, I'm reminded of a parent I encountered some times back, and he told me that he will not take his children to church. He will wait until they grow up and they decide whether they would want to go to church. Unfortunately, I never got time to reply to him, but I was left wondering, if you are saying that for Matters Church, you would wait until they mature and they become of age and they decide for themselves, why then not do so in Matters Education? Who told you to bring them to school? Why couldn't you wait until they are of age and they decide whether they require education or they don't require education? So, ladies and gentlemen, by the mercies of God, I would want to beseech all of us that we teach our children matters our God. The fear of God is the beginning of all wisdom. There cannot be any sustainable success that is not founded on godly foundations. It is an acceptable concept across all religions that there can never be wealth without worship. So, dear parents, I want once again, as teacher Esther said, matters spiritual, let your child know matters of your God. Point number 2 is discipline or character. Discipline or character. I remember sometimes in the year 2012, I walked to an insurance company in the city, and I had gone there to buy an education policy for my children. And the lady I met at the reception, when she was congratulating me for taking that step, she mentioned 2 things which have remained stuck in my mind. And she said that as a parent, there are two great things you can give your child. One of them is education, and the second one is discipline. And the lady went on to insist that discipline is the most important. And ladies and gentlemen, over the years, I've come or have thought about that statement, and I've come to believe that it is true, that discipline is the most important. I wish to submit to us that education without discipline or without character, it is chaos. Your education, your talents, your charismas will open great doors for you. But it's your discipline, it is your character that will sustain you in those corridors. Unfortunately today, most parents, we have ignored the aspect of discipline. I know the government has banned corporal punishment, but that has not left us without options. I want to ask all of us parents who are seated here that as we look for wealth, as we give our children quality education, let us ensure that we discipline them. It is painful to administer discipline, but it is a fact that cannot be disputed, that the fruits that come out of discipline are immense. There can never be any success anywhere, in whatever area, without discipline. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to ask us that we put matters discipline in the forefront. Item number 3 that I want to mention is presence. As I've noted earlier in my speech, as we strive to acquire wealth, and as we strive to give quality education to our children, much of our time is taken. And you realize that we are absent from our children. But I want to take this opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, to request us that we be with our children. Participate in the lives of your children. And I want us to appreciate ourselves because today we have come to participate in an event of our children. Let's appreciate ourselves. Some of us are very busy. Even during birthdays of our children, we are not able to attend. Some of us are very busy. Even when teachers call for parent meetings, we are not able to attend. More so men. Men in the house, you can wave me. Men in the house, let's appreciate our fathers who are in the house. Yeah, I am insisting on that because men are the most affected. Well, maybe you can bear me witness when you call for a parents meeting, it is the mothers who come. I have no problem with mothers coming. It is encouraged, but we are both parents. If the father is there and the mother is there, it is highly encouraged that we participate in the affairs of our children. Ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about presence, you need to spend quality time with your children. Your presence must be felt. Unfortunately, in our modern day, which is characterized by electronic gadgets, some of us are present, but our presence is not felt. I don't know whether you have seen it in your houses like I've seen in my house. We are all there and everyone is busy in their gadgets. Moja ako kwa kompyuta, mwingine ako kwa simu, mwingine ako kwa TV, mwingine sijui ako wapi. So we are present, but our effect is not being felt. So I want to ask us that we ensure that we are present. A story is told that one man had stayed for quite some time without visiting his children or his family. And on this particular day when he visited, he saw his daughter and he congratulated her that she seems to be adding weight. She's doing well in terms of health. Only to be told quietly by the mother that the daughter is expectant. Dear parents, I want to ask us to be present in the lives of our children. It is from your presence that your children learn your morals. It is from your presence that you become a good model, a role model. And I want to emphasize something that was forwarded by a gentleman known as Sigmund Freud. This gentleman lived more than 100 years ago, and he says that the life of a person is divided into 5 stages. But for the interest of time, I just want to mention one, which is called latency. Latency is the stage that begins from 5 years to 12 years. And that is where our graduates are today, between 5 to 12 years. And according to Sigmund Freud, it is at this stage that social development occurs, social interactions occur, communication skills are developed, self-confidence is built. And this theory says that anyone who fails to navigate through this stage, they develop something we call inferiority complex. And inferiority complex, in simple terms, means that in the later life of this person, they will have relationship issues. And this fixation, it occurs when the parent is absent from the life of the child at this age. Therefore, I am urging you, ladies and gentlemen, that we be present in the lives of our children at this age, so that they do not develop inferiority complex. In many of my speeches, I really emphasize issues to do with relationships, because I'm a firm believer that life is relational. Life is about relationships. And anyone who is good in cultivating and maintaining relationships, those people, they go far. And anyone who cannot form relationships, anyone who cannot maintain relationships, they will always have trouble. At the workplaces, they have trouble. When they get married, they have trouble. When they come to a gathering, when they come to church, they have trouble. Therefore, my dear parents, I would really want to suggest it to you that these kids are joining a very, very important stage in their life. It is here that we shall build their communication skills. It is here that we shall build their confidence. It is here that they will know how to live with people. So be present with them, so that in their later life of adult, they will not have issues. Remember, someone said that an adult is not far away from a child. Number 4 is about integrity. And when we talk about integrity, we are talking of how you do things. A story is told of a certain gentleman who was working in a moderate job and had acquired moderate wealth. And when he was compared with his colleagues, he appeared to be doing poorly financially. And one of the reasons why the gentleman was not doing so well is because he had chosen to follow the right path in the acquisition of wealth. And I'm not in any way saying that those who do not have a lot of wealth, they have the highest levels of integrity. Neither am I in any way saying that those who have a lot of wealth, they have no integrity. No, don't get me wrong. My point that I'm driving home is matters integrity. And the story has it that the family would quarrel this man. Why have you not acquired as much wealth as your colleagues? And towards the last days of his life, this man called his family and he told them, I may not have left a lot of buildings for you, a lot of land, a lot of cash in the bank, but I have left a great asset for you. And the story has it that the family could not understand what the man was saying. But days later, after the death of this man, the son attended an interview in a very prestigious multinational company. And upon his introduction to the panel, the president of that company happened to know the father. And courtesy of how he knew the father, this gentleman landed into a very prestigious job simply because of the integrity of his parents. I want to submit to us that as we live, we are not just living for ourselves. You are a generational asset. Your conduct, your behaviors will have an impact on the success of these children many years after we are gone. I don't know whether you have ever wondered why in many homes a lot of wealth is left behind, but within no time the wealth is no more. Again, I'm not in any way suggesting that there were issues, but it's food for thought. It is a fact that we are generational. My behavior will affect my children. Your behavior will affect your children. At times we do things and think we have escaped. No one has noted. If you are religious like me, you'll say God has noted. If you are not religious, you'll say nature has noted. So I would want to ask us that as we strive to give our children education, let us also be people of integrity. Ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, I just want to say that as you look for money and education for your children, be keen to teach them about your God. Be keen to discipline them appropriately. Be there for them and pursue a life of integrity. It is my prayer that our children here and the others will grow in wisdom and in stature, in favor with men and with God. God bless us all.